TraderDane here with an important message. Everything you hear me or my guests say on this podcast is to be considered for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not financial advice. You should do your own research before making financial decisions, just like in any other part of life. So with that, let's get started with the podcast. All right, welcome to the TraderDane podcast, episode 2 of season 2. And this is really, really special because I have got my home team with me. To those who don't know, this is Griffin right here and Mike right here. And Griffin and Mike and I, we basically live stream on the TraderDane YouTube channel every single day for New York session. And I think, to be honest, guys, I think you are more consistent than I am. Isn't that right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Without a doubt.
We have plenty more days on there than logged.
You're holding it down. Yeah, it's been a little bit difficult over summer here with me traveling and all that stuff. So it's I really enjoy the stream. Huh?
A lot of holidays out there in Europe.
Yeah. Is holidays hitting the US now, or is it also over?
What holidays?
I don't.
What holidays?
Okay, I got you. July 4th.
You lazy.
I gotcha. We're recording right now. It's like 8 p.m. European time. That's why I have a beer with me. You guys, what's that? That must be 2 p.m. almost 1:30, something like that. Yeah.
1:35. I got the diet DP going on.
Nice.
Zero.
Trading fuel.
Awesome. Okay, guys, let's dive into it. So I just want to say, so Griffin, you were on in season 1. So if you haven't met Griffin before, go back and check season 1. I think you were actually the second person I ever had on the podcast. So that's really awesome. But maybe Mike, if you can just briefly introduce yourself to the audience.
Sure. My name is Michael. I've been trading for since right before COVID. Various different types of trading. Started off, obviously I've been investing for a long time. I've been trading, stocks, options for a couple of years. I've been on futures for about 3 years now. Had different levels of profitability or break even or not profitable. I'm in a middle stage right now. I have, what's it called? Streaks of profitability and then streaks of red. But making our way to being consistent.
Right. Grinding it out.
Yeah.
And maybe just cool. And then maybe just 1 or 2 sentences, Griffin, on you.
Okay.
Brief introduction.
I'm Griffin. I'm the young guy in the crew. I been trading futures for about 1.5 years, just making my way to generational wealth. So we're on the way. We're on the upslope right now. So
yes. And you say you're the young guy, but you've been trading longer than me. So as it comes to futures day trading, I'm the least experienced.
You're the young trader.
I'm the young trader. Let's call
it the noob,
even though
as we say.
That's right. So guys, something the introductions aside, something, because we know each other and we trade every day together. Something I want to talk to you about is I had someone DM me on Instagram yesterday, another content creator / day trader who has also been in some of the same communities that we have in the past. And he was super frustrated because yesterday was a shit day, right? I think everyone across the social media space and day trading agreed that August 12th was the worst price action in a long time. But he was frustrated. He sent me a voice message basically saying he couldn't really see himself keeping up the content creation because it was difficult being a new trader, doing all this stuff at the same time as then showing it, being transparent and all that. So that's the same thing we're trying, because we are not there yet, right? We're not 6, 7, 8 figure traders. So my question to you guys is, are we retarded? And let me just elaborate a little bit on that, because we're trying to fill the space between there's a category of traders that never really make it. They try it out for a month or 2, maybe they create some content, you never see them again. And then there's another category of traders who have made it years ago, who've been trading, in an office for years, and then after they've made it, they go on social media and tell about their strategy and all that kind of stuff. But are we retarded in the sense that we were trying to show that super, super difficult journey that it is to start trading and then become profitable, being fully transparent?
I would say I'm half retarded, and it's got nothing to do with the trading thing. But yeah, I think it's tough, but I feel like some of the reasons why I'm doing the content thing right now are, first of all, it makes my trading fun. You know, I love talking to you guys. I love talking to the chat, and just being live. I feel like I have a great time versus being bored in the morning. You know what I mean? Looking at an empty chart, waiting for it to do something, waiting for it to move. Sometimes that's not very fun. So that is part of it. And then also, I feel like when I was getting into trading, there was nobody doing content like this, like we're doing. If it kind of had felt like everyone already made it, and I'm just lagging behind. You know what I mean? Everyone that I saw out there had already made it, was getting the big payouts, the 6 figures, and I'm the guy who's just trailing and couldn't figure it out. So I feel like it's probably good for an audience to see content like the content that we make.
Yeah, I 100% agree with everything Griffin was saying. Like, regardless if nobody watches the stream, like, I enjoy it as well. You know, like it's much more fun than trading alone, which, you know, trading could be a very lonely thing. So it's more fun to do it with, you know, people that you enjoy, you know, like talking with and bantering with. It also keeps you a little bit more accountable, because, like, you know, if I'm doing something stupid, y'all have called me out. Like, don't, like, even today, like, don't tilt, just keep your day green, which, you know, thankfully I did. I listened to y'all for the most part. I did take that one extra trade, but you know, it got to break even on it, so it was okay. But also, like, it's relatable content. You know, like, you can watch all these other gurus and furus, and they're all mixed together. Some of them are great, you know, some of them are, you know, toxic, but you know, our content that we're creating on the stream is just like, we're honest. Like, we're not 6-figure traders, you know, we're not even 5-figure traders, you know, at least not consistently. So, like, people can relate to the stuff that we're going through, the things that we're talking about, and we're figuring it out as we go and helping others hopefully figure it out too.
And I fully agree. And don't you also think, so you said it as well, Griffin, when you started, that wasn't really available. So yes, you can find education, both good and bad. You can find quick, like, flashy P&Ls on YouTube. You can find all of that, but you can't really find those who are consistently learning it and then becoming profitable. You can't find that journey. It's like a black box, isn't it?
Agreed. Yeah. And it's like, you want something relatable, at least a little bit of it. You know what I mean? Something that you can be like, oh, this guy, he's putting himself out there, and he lost today too. And he had a red month, you know, like, versus what you really see on social media is, oh, this is how I was green every day this month. This is how I made 6 figures this month. I feel like it's good to have a mix of seeing the cool, the big side of it, the goal, and then also seeing, like, people who are in the same boat as you, and you're like, oh, look at this helps me realize this is normal. You know, it's normal to have a red week or a red month. It happens.
Yeah, it makes you feel less bad about like your mistakes, you know, like, because there are many mistakes to be made as a trader, and, like, even me 3 years in, I still make mistakes every day. You know, like, I could have managed something better, I could have entered better, I could have not taken that trade that I wasn't supposed to, or maybe I should have taken the trade that I didn't take. Like, you know, there's so many mistakes that you can make, and you don't realize that, like, everyone's making those mistakes. It's not just you. So seeing that live, you know, I imagine would be helpful to people.
Yeah. And I think we get that feedback also from the chat, right? The few people that do check in, the loyal chat that we have, it resonates with them, and they're kind of at the same level as us, right? So they're taking some of the same trades, not taking signals, but just being in there with us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you guys feel about trading and streaming? Like, I've heard people say, I've also tried, you know, bring other people on as guests and so on, and a lot of people will turn that down because it's too much of a distraction. How have you find that, starting up stream and being on there while being locked in and starting to trade?
You can go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, for me, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster, because I would say, like, the first 2 weeks, I was, like, extra cautious, because, like, I didn't want to make a mistake in front of other people. And then at some point it flipped.
Then you realized, like, there were no other people. Oh, sorry.
Maybe. But also then at some point it flipped to like, oh, well, now we're not taking any trades. Now I feel a little bit more pressure to take a trade just for like the entertainment value. And I think like now in August, you know, like after we've been doing this for almost 2.5 months now ish, give or take a month, like I feel like I'm more natural in front of the stream. You know, there are times where I'm like a little bit more quiet because I'm a bit more focused on a trade, probably because I'm over leveraged on it. But if in general, I feel a lot more comfortable having done it for a little bit of now.
Right.
I feel like it's a bit of a mixed bag. I think I've gotten much better at it. But it didn't throw me off in the same ways that I thought it would. I think there's a bit of a bright side to it, or a good side, that it kind of like the accountability portion. You don't want to make stupid mistakes that you might make by yourself in front of people watching, right? So that keeps you out of these dumb trades or revenge trades or anything like that. And then I guess, like Mike said, there's the other side where you want to be entertaining too. Like you don't want to have a day where everyone's flat. You're like, all these people they're here to watch us. Let's put a trade on. You know what I mean? Let's do something. Let's try this out because stream's watching. But I think those were early thoughts, and I think at this point I'm able to just focus on the trading and have the stream on the back end and read the chat and have a good time. But like, I think I can have my full focus on the trading, so it hasn't caused me any issues at all.
Right. I mean, it's a little bit like having your buddy next to you, right? We think out loud all the time, right? That's what we do when we spar with each other. We test ideas off of each other, you know, and I guess also, Mike, you're very locked in sometimes, but that's all because you scalp like a maniac sometimes.
Yeah, I sling some trades, you know, like like my style is generally a lot faster than yours, where y'all are trying to hold for like 15 minutes to a half hour. Sometimes I'm looking to be in and out in a few minutes. That's like my goal, and it's been working for me like the last few weeks. If for the people that have come to the stream, they've seen my success in my new kind of balls to the wall strategy a little bit, but you know,
go ahead.
I'll notice we'll be sitting there. I'll see, you know, Mike getting down and locked in. Won't be saying much. I'll be like, "You in a trade?" Be like, "Yep."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yep. I got long.
Yeah. As soon as he's quiet, you know the stuff going on, right?
Yep.
That's awesome. But I think that's also something that I'm transitioning a little bit, being a little bit more scalpy. I guess that's also August price action. We can talk a little bit about that as well. But I think one of the qualities of our stream is also that we do different things. It's not just like, sure, we're inspired by the same coaches, the same framework, but we do different things in different ways. You had a really good point the other day, Mike. Sadly, it was when I was off stream, but that happens. About how your brain works, right? You'll trade your stop, or you take a tight stop on a trade because that is how your brain works. That really resonated with me, because you need to find, you need to take that inspiration from whoever is coaching you, but then you need to tweak it to, like you say, like how your brain works, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's very rare that you can take someone else's system and trade it exactly the same way with the exact same success. I'm not saying that's not possible, but with any system that you take, you have to make it your own. You know, whenever you sign up for like any sort of mentorship, you take the framework and you adjust and tweak the framework to make it match your personality so that you can get the most out of it. And I feel like I've done that with like the frameworks that I've gotten.
Yeah, Mike does a great job. I feel like you've taken like whoever 4 different mentors, and you're like, I'm going to take the parts that I like from each, combine it, and trade how I trade. I know we've all done a little bit of taking what we've learned and kind of running with it to craft it to our personality types. I feel like I've definitely done that, especially over the last few months. You know, I used to trade just kind of a copy of what I've learned, and now I just like have found things that I like better. You know, over however many trades, there will be something where I'm like, I don't like having my stop loss here, or I don't like doing what I guess like my previous rules told me. I need to try something new. So I've totally crafted it around how I feel.
I have to give it to you as well, Griffin. Yeah, first of all, I think you're the king of keeping it simple and consistent. I mean, process-wise, you're really, really solid. And also, I remember it's a few weeks back, but we had you really went back with your data and said, yeah, like you took, I think you pulled it out of TradeSeller or something, right? Where you said the breaks are working, the VWAP breaks, the bounces are not working. So that was like a really solid piece of, data-driven decision. Then you kept taking a few bounce trades, but that is what it is, right? But
yeah,
but I think that so you're also learning, but I think you do a really good job of sticking to your guns and keeping trading simple as it should be, right?
Thank you.
No one can ever tell you that your chart is too cluttered. The least cluttered chart I've ever seen. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
thanks, guys. I take pride in that.
There's a position tool, and there's your order lines, right? Your fills.
It's so great.
It's awesome. So to talking a little bit about that, so how maybe we can dive a little bit, just to spend a few minutes on how we actually trade. So maybe we can start with you, just keeping it simple. Griffin, what are you looking for when you want to take an entry?
Sure. So I'm looking at pretty much, there are two entry types that I take, and I take VWAP bounces and VWAP breaks strictly off of the New York VWAP. I guess it just depends on higher time frame context, really. If I'm looking for bounces or breaks, I'm looking to take bounces in more trending conditions. Bounces I take with a sort of a tighter stop and about like a 1 hour sort of trade. Usually trading a bounce to previous highs. So let's say we create a high, pull back to VWAP. I'll take a bounce with a tight stop to the high, and then breaks. I'm usually looking for a bit more of a move, I feel. Usually taking breaks earlier in the session, but I like to take those in line with the higher time frame as well. So let's say we get a pullback to like overnight VWAP and we hold it, and then we come back and come back in line with the higher time frame as we break to the side of New York VWAP. I like to take that trade. That's my favorite trade. So,
yeah,
pretty simple.
And speaking of data, that's also what's been working, right, recently, or the last few months, really.
Yep.
Yeah, nice. And Mike, can you unfold your system? Maybe just parts of it.
That'd be a bit much.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in my system, but it can be simplified to a few lines. Like, it's not that much different than what Griffin does. What I do extra is that I have a much more in-depth, higher time frame analysis that I look at, and I'm generally trying to only take trades with the higher time frame trend. So even if I do get like a bounce in the wrong VWAP bounce off the wrong way, I probably will be less inclined to take that if it goes against my higher time frame analysis. I'm okay with taking a bounce or a break off of any VWAP, whether it's the RTH, the New York, the overnight, the 2-day, the weekly, the monthly. They're all valid levels that you could bounce or break for me. I would love for them all to be in confluence with each other, but they don't necessarily have to be. But I'm more of a 1 to 2 risk to reward type of guy. Sometimes higher, sometimes a little lower. But I'm also trying to be in and out quickly. My stop is generally smaller than yours, but I'm also looking for the quick move. I'm not looking to be just right on the direction. I'm looking to be right on the timing too. So, I have tools to help me do that, like order flow tools, like the footprint. I used to use CVD a lot, less so much now, but things like that help me, get a little bit more of a precise entry.
And also you're using the higher time frame bands as well, right?
Yeah, I use higher time frame bands. That helps fuel I want to be long bias or short bias based on where we are in relation to the VWAP and the bands and things like that.
Is there anything, Mike? Is there anything in your system where, because I know you program, you can make your own indicators and you can make your own sort of setups and automate that inside TradingView. Do you use any of that yourself? Do you use some of your own tools also to give you entry signals, to give you targets, things like that?
Yeah, so I actually I started a company called ChartSmith, chartsmith.dev, where I build custom, tooling software for, whatever your needs are. Essentially, you tell me what you want to build. And I've done that for myself. I told myself what I want to build. And what I want to build is like, not only the indicators that I want to look at, but I've built myself tools that help me analyze the markets a lot quicker, make decisions a lot quicker. So you'll see on stream, like I paint candles that help me identify when I want to be long or when I want to be short. I've created filters within my indicator that like align with my higher time frame analysis, which allows me then to look at multiple markets. So a lot of people, what I used to do is only focus on one market, whether it's ES or NQ, and I'd have to do all those mental calculations on the fly to tell me like I want to be long or short. With like my own indicator that I made for myself, I can look at NQ, YM, and RTY, and I can say like within seconds what I want to do, where I want to go short, if I want to go short, where I want to go long, if I want to go long. And it's helped me. And if people want that type of help, feel free to reach out.
Yeah. And I think, to be honest, it's helped us as well, because I mean, if for the few of them that have of the audience that have actually followed stream, you will see us. I'm going to do a reel about that as well, or a YouTube video about that tomorrow, I think, where we actually switch quite actively between tickers. Like we will be, when we started out a couple of months ago, even it was like NQ and ES, and that was it. We traded RTY today on the micros, and I think some of us traded YM as well, right? We traded YM a couple of days ago as well. So expanding that, how to both of you, how have you found that? Is it easy to switch? You've automated it a little bit, Mike, with your indicators there. How about you, Griffin? Do you like it, or is it difficult?
It's a little bit more difficult trading, I would say. It requires a lot more focus and memory. A couple months ago when we started this, I was strictly watching and trading ES. Then I slowly added NQ, saying they move similar, right? We'll take whatever one's cleaner. And within the past like 2 or 3 weeks, I've added YM and RTY as well. So it requires me to just constantly be switching, but also keeping in mind what I want to see on each indice that day. So I'll go in and look at the hourly, look at the daily, and look at the 15-minute time frame and say, all right, this is kind of what we're doing on RTY and YM right now. This is what I'd like to see today. And I watch the opening range set on everything. And it's a lot more switching through. And let's say I'm looking at ES chart right now, and then in my head, I'm like, shoot, I got to go check YM and see if that trade I wanted is setting up. And I don't use any tools or automation for that. So I'm constantly flipping back and forth. So I definitely need to be a lot more locked in on the chart. Whereas before, if I'm just watching ES, it was like, I know what ES is doing. I'm looking for one setup, and I could sit there. I could look away from the chart for 15 minutes probably. Yeah. And it would come to me. It was easy. It was simple. So it's more, but I feel like there's so much more opportunity. Like today, for example, ES and NQ were drifting in no man's land. No opportunities, no setups for an entry today. And RTY gave me a clean break and a clean bounce, just about the two most perfect setups I could have asked for. And I hit max profit today. So if I didn't add them, that's it's no trade day today. So yeah, it's worked well.
How about you, Mike?
I disagree a little bit, but I think it's also because I have a lot more monitor space than Griffin. And I've added my indicator to help. What I think has been valuable for me is it's made me not force medium setups. The idea that looking at 3 symbols instead of 1 allows me to pick which one has the most optimal setup. So today it was YM, but like RTY was good enough, and it got us a win. And then YM set up 2, and I got a win on that too. But if I was only trading NQ or ES, I might have not had a trade today.
Right. You'd just be sitting there.
And there are some days where we looked at YM and it never even broke out of its like 15-minute opening range, and we were an hour and a half in. So like, if I was only looking at YM, that would have sucked for that day. So, I found that It's been better and, allowing me to have better trade setups overall, but and making me a little bit more choosy, picky on what trades I can take.
I like it.
That's actually an interesting point, because you could fear as well that you would be all over the place and taking trades left, right, and center, but it's actually allowing you to say, okay, first 15 minutes is done. Like today, we can leave ES and we can leave NQ because they were just ripping out of all kinds of good setups. Then we focus on YM and RTY, and we got some good setups there. So to me, it's also been super beneficial where it's a good point you're making, that it's actually allowing us to choose the good setups rather than force the mediocre ones.
Yeah, I like that point that Mike made about, I haven't even thought about it that way yet, but that makes a lot of sense, because if I wasn't looking at RTY today, I might have forced something on ES, just wanted to take a trade, a boredom trade. But there's plenty more opportunity out there since I've added more indices to, there's just more opportunity to be had. You know what I mean? If ES doesn't give me a setup, great. Something else might.
More and better opportunities, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's more chance, like let's say I have criteria for an A+ setup. If I have 4 indices, there's a better chance I get that setup than looking at one.
And that relies on the whole idea that theoretically the VWAP trades should translate across any asset, really, right? If you have volume, you have liquidity, you can get a good fill, you should be able to trade any asset, right?
Yeah. As long as it's centrally so futures are centralized, right? So every order has to go through the same market. I can't say the same for Bitcoin. I can't say the same for stocks even. So to me, VWAP trading, has an extra edge on futures. And definitely not Forex, because there's definitely no centralized exchange for Forex. But so
CFDs,
okay,
that would be impossible. Awesome. What a little bit of well, first of all, actually, how is it going mentally? I mean, are you struggling? I always kind of ask my guests. I also want to ask the home team. What are you working on mentally right now? Because that's always also both an issue and some potential when we talk day trading.
I'm focused on slowing my brain down. I feel like I'm fine mentally. I'm doing all right. Last month was my first red month in, like, I want to say, I don't know, it might have been like 8 months. I had green months in a row, had my first red month. Didn't feel great. A lot of losing days, a lot of just poor trading, to be honest. And I'm doing all right. And I think part of the problem was I get in my head when I'm anywhere near payout, I'm crunching the numbers way too much. So that's something I need to work on mentally, is I'm always thinking the next session, let's say, I'm 2 trades away from payout, right? Okay, so it's a Wednesday now. I can get the payout by Friday. So, you know what I mean? And those numbers are always running through my head. All right, I'm $800 from payout. I just need a $400 winner tomorrow and the next day. And I can definitely get a payout by the end of this week. And those numbers and those thoughts have me holding on to trades longer for more profit and just making mistakes, really. So,
I mean, I'm in a similar boat. Like, it was only, a week ago that I was on literally Friday where I was up like $900 on the day, or $1,100 on the day, and I was like $300 away from a payout. And what I should have done was just been like, all right, I'm happy. I'm up $1,100 on the day. Come back on Monday. We'll get a good trade on Monday to get it over there. Nah. I had to get it on Friday. I had to get that payout on Friday, and but ended up losing whatever profit I had plus another 200 on top. Set me back. Built it back up. Lost it again. Lost that again on that Trump tweet yesterday. That was brutal. But no, like what I've been working on really is, something we joke around in the stream is like having the perfect amount, the perfect size balls, like the idea is like putting enough risk on that you're not taking months to pass an eval or to get a payout, but not too much risk that it's like irresponsible. So like my goal is like pass an eval in 1 to 2 days, aim for a payout in under a week, right? And if I'm taking longer than that, that means I'm not risking enough. If I'm taking, if I'm trying to go less than that, I'm risking too much. So I think in 3 weeks ago, I did it perfectly. Last week, I, probably under risked, except for Friday. And then this week, I'm trying to get back on track. It's been a rough week though with the price action that we've had though.
So just a quick question to both of you. You go first, Mike. You said you work with fairly tight stops.
Yep.
So you must size pretty big, right? What's your typical size on, let's say, on one of the familiar indices like NQ?
So on NQ, I'm generally in the range of 4 to 6 micros, and I'm trying to risk on a funded account. I'm trying to risk a 50K funded account, I should say. I'm trying to risk about $500 to $700 per trade. Generally staying around 500, and I'm trying to win about 1,000. Like anywhere from like 750 to 1,000. Like 1,000 would be my 2R type of thing.
Yeah.
And on YM, I'm generally 2 minis. On RTY, 2 to 3 minis. Sometimes on YM,
accounts.
Sometimes on YM I need a little bit of a bigger stop, so I'll just stick to 1 mini. But that's generally where I'm at with size.
Nice.
I'm in a similar spot. I like to risk just about the same that Mike does. I'm usually going for, in a funded, about like a 50K funded, about like $600 risk, shooting for the consistency target, shooting to make about $600 per trade. That's when I'm trading instant funded. So that's what I'm going for. In an eval, I'm trading a lucid eval right now. The daily loss limit is 1,200. So I'm looking to risk 1,200 and make whatever I can do. Risk as much as I can risk on an eval, get through it quick, and make whatever my target is. Let's say it's a negative R trade. I risk 1,200, make 800 to 1,000. That's fine with me. I'll look for a second trader. I'll move on, so that's where I'm at.
There's a certain point in every day trader or prop trader's journey where you get to a stage where an eval is something that simply needs to be full ported. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. Why do I want to spend more than a couple days in an eval?
You can't make an eval. The goal is to
spoke about this. The goal is to not be in one account for multiple months without a payout. Like we're all trying to be 6-7 figure traders. You're not going to do that by getting one $2,500 payout every 3 months. You're going to do that by getting a $2,500 payout every week. So if I'm on a 50K account, I need to be, my goal is to get a $25,000 or $2,000 payout every week, right? That'll get me to 6 figures. And if I can't do that, I either need to trade more accounts or trade a bigger account. But I'm not trying to be in an eval or even in a funded account for more than a week or two. And if I'm not churning or if I'm not getting a payout every 2 weeks, then I'm doing something wrong. Or at least that's the goal. Obviously I'm not there yet, but that's the goal.
I would completely agree. I think that is the goal. I don't think you want to be stalling in an account, a funded account, but especially an eval. If you're a beginner, it's a different story. You want to learn while spending the least amount as possible. So you do want to sit in an eval for as long as it takes, right? But if you've had a payout before, if you know how to trade and you have a system that works, I don't think you want to be sitting in an eval more than a week, 2 weeks tops. You need to be pushing the evals, and then you're funded. Same thing. You got to be shooting for a payout. You're not shooting to. I don't think you should be risking $100 a trade. You know what I mean? Right. I think your goal is to make money. So you gotta push to make money.
Take some self-evaluation though, right? Like you have to evaluate where you are yourself as a trader or where you think you are. So like I think I'm at that stage where I'm just right there. Like if I can tweak a couple things in my, maybe my trade management or something like, or just get rid of
the right size bolts.
Yeah, have the right size bolts. I'm right there. But if you're at a stage where you're not confident in the trades that you're taking, or if you're still learning and you need to be honest with yourself where you are, then maybe you want to milk that eval for as much as possible so that you can continue to learn and test and try things until you figure out what works for you.
I'm fully on board with that.
Yeah, because it is that middle ground where you have your fee, you have that little bit of money on the line, as opposed to paper trading, but it's not a funded account that cost you $300 and all that, right? So I think it's also a good proving ground. It's not something you should be stuck in. Even as a beginner, you shouldn't start paying subscriptions like several months. You get a subscription fee because you have it for more than a month. So yeah, it's a balance. And I really also take in what you say about funded accounts, because I am doing that right now. I'm simply not risking enough. That's another story I'm going to be making a video about, because my typical winning day is $300 to $400. My consistency score on these accounts is 600. So I'm actually never really hitting the consistency, which, the right size balls, it simply means the trades are okay, but the size is wrong. So I'm not, I'm not risking enough for what it is. It's a prop account, right?
But yes, but that's how they get you, right? That's how they get
you. Yeah, exactly, yeah. But I think there's another way they get you. That's when you size ridiculously big, right? And you blow it up.
But that consistency score is made to slow you down, and that plays on the impatience of human beings, right? So like if you have a 20% consistency score, that means the fastest you can get a payout is 5 days, right? Yep. And generally you're not going to hit that $600 profit every 5 days in a row.
5 days in a row, especially. You might hit it a couple days.
Yeah,
you need a high win rate.
Yeah, you need a really high win rate. And like if you're a negative risk to reward trader, you have one red day, all of a sudden now it's 7, maybe 8 days as your fastest. That's not the life I want to live. I want to live in a 50% consistent score. And you can't get that in a straight to funded. So you have to go through the eval. So you want to pass that eval in 1 day, maybe 2, and then get that payout as fast as possible too. Or there are other routes. You could do like other people I see on social media are doing like, I want to trade 20 accounts and I want to trade them all really slowly, but like $100 win is like $2,000.
Yeah, that's another good method too. I mean, you have so much drawdown when you're doing that. Trading them small, you can keep them for a long time, but that could really mess with you mentally, I think, especially trading them slow. You have 20 accounts and that'll take you a couple months to get a payout or something, right? Imagine you spend so much on those 20 accounts and 3 months goes by and you blow them all. That's going to sting.
It goes down to how does your brain work? Like my brain needs the instant gratification. Other people's brains can be like, I can wait 2 months, but when I get that payout in 2 months, it's going to be 20 grand, 30 grand, and that's great for them.
It's also, it's not just the $100 wins. It's still your risk reward, right? Because if you take a $100 win, but you take a $300 loss every now and then,
it's not going to work.
Then you're going to be stuck in that account for a long time, right? It's a slow bleed, right? So talking about this, it's inevitable that we're also going to touch upon prop accounts, I think, and prop firms. I think you made a good point there, both of you, about the consistency score. Actually, with an instant funded, it's 20%. I haven't actually put much thought into that before, but there's a lot. It's typically a lot easier going through an eval stage. So what kind of accounts are you guys trading right now, and what do you find good versus bad?
You want to start prop
space? Yeah. So I regret what I did, but
you can mention companies and all that stuff. It's fine. Yeah. We'll talk about props.
In this latest batch of evals, I bought the 5-pack of Apexes, right? Mm-hmm. And I probably had my best trading week of like the last year, the first week that I bought it. The problem was I passed 3 of the 5 Apexes, whereas if I would have just dedicated that time to one 50K account, I would have gotten a payout, right?
Yeah.
So I divided my time across 3 accounts, and now week 2 and then week 3, I lost 2 of those accounts, and now I'm on my last one, with still yet to get a payout on I did 3 of them. So, but what I plan to do in the future is actually just go for no activation fees, 50K evals, probably on Lucid, because Lucid has rhythmic connections, and I like to connect to Sierra charts. So that's probably where I'm going to do moving forward after this account gets a payout or if I blow it up.
Cool. I just hopped back on the eval train. It's been 1.5 years for me since I bought an eval. I've been on instant funded since Top One Futures dropped, and just trading instant funded. I like both models. I know the industry is shifting back towards evals, but for the way that I trade, sort of a 1R, negative R sometimes, I never really struggle much with a consistency score, because my winning days are never really bigger than the $600 target. So it doesn't get in my way. People who trade a positive R and risk $500 that want to hit 3R and make $1,500, obviously that doesn't work with your system, right? You can't trade it. For me, I can trade it fine. It's worked for me in the past, but I also think that those eval models are pretty intriguing as well. So I'm trading a Lucid eval right now. Once you pass 5 days of 150 profit, that's a payout. I do think it's an easier path to payout. It just, like we've been talking about the whole time, it all depends on your personality and how you like to trade.
But what I've come to conclude also, because for me, it's a bit of a marathon hitting these 3K targets on a 50K with a 20% consistency. It's been up and down and up and down and up now. Mm-hmm. That to me, that's kind of a marathon approach. And it is arguably a bigger payout waiting at the end of it versus the top step Lucid kind of sprint approach where you hit 5 days. They don't have to be consecutive, right? You just hit 5 days of let's call it a very small win. Yes, it translates to a very small payout, but it's a payout.
Yeah. Yep. Easier path to payout, but smaller payout. And I think it's a good step for someone who's struggling to take consistent payouts. I think the evals are the way to go, because you can get your confidence up. It's a lot easier to get to a payout, although it might be smaller, it might be half the size or less. You know, if you get to a payout in a 50K instant, you take out 2250, you get to a payout in an eval, it might be $500, but then you can repeat that process and keep making 500 versus just blowing accounts. You can get your confidence back and actually pull some money out of the market.
I'll give you an example. I took $1,000 in two separate payouts, so totaled 1K out of a Top Step account. The account, I got it in just around February 1st, and I took the first payout early March, the next payout early April. So in 2 months, I got 2 payouts, 1K. I've been spending all time since then trading my Top One accounts. I mean, it's not to talk bad about Top One. It's just I'm like 2K in profit. So I'm 2/3 of the way, but it's just going like this. So so could I have made, I could maybe have taken 2, 3, 4 payouts on Top Step in the meantime.
Maybe.
That's my thinking right now.
Doing this is a problem for me too the last couple of months. You guys remember I had that Top One account? It was $70 from payout. That one still hurts. I blew it last week.
Epic story.
Congratulations, Griffin. Both.
Yeah,
exactly.
I got just screwed over in chat.
We had a buddy in the chat saying congrats.
He's that close to the target. TP was like 2 points on ES from TP, maybe like 1 point, and that was payout. And
he hasn't been to chat since.
He hasn't.
Yeah. I get a congrats in the chat, and I say, hold on, don't say that yet.
Don't
jinx it. Down to full stop.
I actually and you blew. That was the account you lost last week.
Yep.
That's crazy. I actually reached out to him yesterday because I hadn't heard from him in weeks. So, but he's still lurking around in the chat and so on. So, good stuff. I think we're gonna sort of wrap it up here. It's been a really, really great conversation. Obviously, you guys are forced to do a part 2 of this because you're the home team. All right. But it's been a blast. And for anyone listening, we do stream every single morning, 9:30 Eastern to 11. And you can follow us along there. A small plug as well. We're going to have a giveaway of 5 Top One Futures accounts next week on Tuesday, August 18th.
Yeah. What day? The 18th? Just wanted to make sure people hear the date.
The 18th, exactly. Yeah. So it's going to be a big party online, and hopefully we'll also take some wins on stream. So make sure you tune in there.
We have a good
Yeah,
time.
you got to be more optimistic. We're gonna take some wins on
We're
stream.
gonna take some wins.
Yes, some
Exactly.
wins, some payouts, and some giveaways, and we're having a good time. We're having fun, so come join us.
Exactly. Good stuff. Okay, see you guys tomorrow on stream.
Yeah,
And thanks for joining.
having us on.
Take it easy.
Bye,
y'all.
guys.